introduce your team or let them introduce themselves, and then we can get going.
All right, Arlene, if I could share, I have a whole presentation with the introductions and everything.
Perfect, of course you do.
Right.
I think because you're a co-host, you can just click on share.
Okay, perfect, yep.
Try that.
All right, so you can all see my screen, and I will go into presentation mode. So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. It's an honor to sit with you this evening and kind of tell you about our online subscription package and share with you all the exciting information that we have for you. So we worked really hard this year to bring you bigger and better options and make it more convenient for our families and our students. So welcome, and I'd like to start by introducing the team. So I am Serena Barnett, and I am the Enrichment Systems Administrator. I oversee the online subscription package, our field trips and events department, as well as our audit team. And then we have Sequoia Cheshire, and she is my OSP coordinator. She is my right-hand gal when it comes to getting all things OSP. And then we also have Joe Brigantino, and he is stepping in as our OSP team specialist. He's kind of hit the ground running because Sequoia is blessed to be having a baby very, very soon. So he'll be stepping in and filling in for her as she is on maternity leave. So I have a really amazing team, and we're really, really excited about what we're offering for you this year. So as you have questions, you can enter those in the chat, and we will all get those answers for you. And we also have a Q&A section too, so cover most of those frequently asked questions. So if you've thought of it, someone else has, and we have the answers for you. So moving on, what exactly is the OSP? And we hear that quite often. We see all these acronyms, especially for our families that are new this year. There are a lot of acronyms that are out there, and you might not be very familiar. So OSP is our online subscription package, and we call it OSP for short. And it's just one of the many benefits that you receive as an Inspire student. So we launched the OSP in the 2017 school year, and we've come a really long way to make it bigger and better every year. And the OSP is basically, it's a way to maximize your instructional funds. So in addition to the funds that you receive, the OSP allows you to get up to 5 free subscriptions. And we offer a large variety of options, including curriculum and educational apps that would really supplement your students' learning. So you can really take advantage of these options to get free curriculum, get free resources, to stretch your instructional funding even more. And then if for whatever reason, the subscriptions just aren't for you, or maybe you really like to be offline, then we also offer an additional $400 in instructional funding for opting out in lieu of the subscriptions. And those funds are provided in February of 2020. So moving right along. What exactly is new this year? So in addition to over 25 subscriptions to choose from, I think it's closer to 30. In years past, I believe we started off with 12 the very first year, and then we offered 17 last year, and now we're up to over 25 subscriptions. And lots of different options out there. So again, we have curriculum options, we have resources, we have tutoring vendors, we have Adobe Creative Cloud, which has really amazing apps that you can use for digital media. And then also new this year is our OSP a la carte. So this is a really great option for families that find that they don't need all 5 subscriptions. Maybe you only want 1 or 2 subscriptions, and you want to purchase those a la carte. So we're able to offer those individual subscriptions at a discount. And then also new this year, which is really exciting, is our single sign-on access through Clever. So there is no more trying to manage a handful of usernames and passwords, especially for our families with multiple kids. So my 3 children are enrolled with the school, and if I opted every single one of them in, that's 5 subscriptions each, and that would be 15 usernames and passwords, in addition to maybe the parent usernames and passwords. So to make this super easy for you this year, we worked with Clever to offer you a single sign-on, so that will make it so much easier for you and your students to access those subscriptions. All right, and we'll go over that tutorial a little bit later. We have Joe presenting what Clever will look like and show you a little bit of the ins and outs of Clever. So what I would love to tell you about is our OSP handbook, and I have been speaking highly of the OSP handbook. It is an invaluable resource. So it has all the things you need to know about the OSP. It has access to the flyer. It has our opt-in and opt-out instructions. We have an instructional video coming soon. We have information on each of the individual subscriptions, including informational videos, as well as the webinars and our FAQ. So I'm going to take a little dive over to our OSP handbook so you can see what that looks like. And we'll put the link in the chat and then follow up with that as well. Your teachers will be able to share that with you, or you can email osp@inspireschools.org, and our OSP team can send you the link to this handbook as well. So as you can see here, we have the flyer, and it should be we have a hyperlinked version, so you can click on each of the actual subscriptions and go directly to their website. We have the written instructions for how to opt in and out, as well as our a la carte, and we'll have an instructional video coming soon as well for those of you who just like to sit back and watch the ins and outs, which we'll also go over in a few minutes. We have our upcoming webinars with the links to those that are coming up. We have quite a few, as you can see here. And we have the pre-recorded webinars. So any recordings that we've offered in the past, those are available, and you can watch the webinars there as well. Then we have new today, for those of you who have kind of been on our website on and off. We worked really hard to get this over the weekend. So we have a device compatibility, and you can search, which subscriptions we offer, and then check, does it work on a Kindle? Will it work on an iOS device? Will it work on an Android? Does it have offline capability? So this is really important for some of you that maybe travel and have limited access to internet. You'll be able to see what subscriptions will work on your devices. So this is really, really helpful for those of you who have been asking for that, and you can look that information up there. And we also have the subscriptions. So you have, again, they're organized by kind of category. You can click on a specific subscription and read a little bit more details about it. We have a little video, as well as the FAQ that are specific to that subscription. So we do get a lot of questions regarding a specific subscription. So we've put those FAQ there as well for your benefit. We also have a general FAQ as well. So you can kind of come here, and all the frequently asked questions, which we will cover in a few minutes here, you can kind of go through and read some of that information. And if you can't find the question that you're looking for or the answer that you're looking for, always you can contact the OSP team. You can email osp@inspireschools.org, and our team will be happy to help you. So that's the OSP handbook. Definitely recommend going to that website and getting all the information, kind of perusing, see what's there, what options are available. And now I am going to hand it over to Sequoia, who is going to actually go over the options for you and tell you a little bit about each of those options that we have.
Okay, yes. So I think that Serena mentioned it a little bit. They're divided into 3 categories. So I'm going to quickly go over each option, just very quickly, just so you can get the basic information about it, and also include the recommended grade levels. And then just to note that the grade levels are just recommendations based on like the site, but it's up to you to select which subscriptions you think would be the best match for your student. So the first are the curriculum options. So each of these can actually be used as a full curriculum for your student. So the first is ABC Mouse, which is a curriculum platform that covers the core subjects, which are language arts, math, science, and social studies for grades TK through 2, and possibly 3rd grade for any students who need some reinforcement. Then we have Beast Academy Online. So this is a full digital homeschool math curriculum for 2nd through 5th grade. We also have Discover Education Science Tech Book with Streaming Plus. So you'll get access to the Discover Education Science Tech Book, which is available for TK through high school. And then you also get access to their streaming service, which gives you access to all their online educational resources, such as videos, and that has content as well for TK through high school. Then we have Elefango, which is technically it's called a curriculum companion. So it has a lot of organized educational resources for all grades, TK through high school. We listed this in curriculum because we thought with some planning and creative adjustments, you could definitely use this as a curriculum. You would just have to piece it together yourself using all the resources that they have available. Then we have, which we are bringing back from last year, MobyMax, which is a differentiated learning curriculum for TK through 8th grade that helps your students fill in educational gaps. And it's also available for the 4 core subject areas. And it includes access to both the Moby Learning and the Moby Assessment modules. And then one that we are excited about is adding Rosetta Stone. So it's the Rosetta Stone Foundations course, which is available to schools. So it's foreign language curriculum with over 20 languages to choose from. And 3 of those languages, Spanish, French, and German, are 8th through G approved for high school. So if your students in high school on the 8th through G track, they could definitely use this, as a language fulfillment for that. Then we have Schmoop, which we are bringing back from last year. So it's a modern curriculum for middle and high school students. It includes a variety of courses, both core subjects and electives. And it also has high school test prep, such as ACT or SAT. And it has some A through G approved courses for high school. Then the last curriculum option there is Time for Learning. So that's a full online homeschool curriculum. It's available for TK through high school and in the 4 core subject areas. Okay, now we have our educational apps. So these are options that your student can use for extracurricular work or as a companion or supplement to the student's core curriculum. So we have Adobe Creative Cloud. So this is a full suite of Adobe applications such as Acrobat, Spark, Portfolio, Photoshop, Illustrator, and many more. Then we have Adventure Academy. So this one is from the makers of ABC Mouse. It's a new program they have. It's an educational learning game designed for grades 3rd through 8th. So they are always working on adding more content. So it's more 3rd through 6th right now, but they're adding more for 7th and 8th as well. Then we have Brain Pop and Brain Pop Junior, which is the animated educational videos and content for TK through 8th. And it includes access to Brain Pop Junior, as well as Brain Pop in French and in Spanish. Then we have Dreambox Learning. So this is an adaptive math program for grades TK through 5th, and it's designed to help close math gaps for the students who use it. Then we have Vocabulary. So this is a library of online songs, videos, and activities for TK through 8th. So they do have high school content, so depending on your student's interest, you could also use this one for high school. We have Grammarly, so that's an online spelling and grammar checking platform, and that's recommended for use for 3rd through high school. And then iExcel, which is an educational practice platform for the 4 core subject areas for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. And then we have Kids Discover Online. So this is a science and social studies curriculum resources for 3rd through 8th grade. Then there is Mango Languages. So this one is also one we're bringing back from last year. So this is a self-paced language learning program for over 70 world languages, and this is recommended for 3rd through 12th grade. And one that we just added is Minecraft Education Edition. So this is the open world game that promotes creativity, collaboration, and problem solving for grades 3rd through high school. It could also be used for younger students. If your students already have an interest in Minecraft, then they could definitely use it as well. Then we have My On News Reader and Accelerated Reader. So these are all bundled together. So what Mayan Reader and News is are, it's a digital library with a variety of online books and articles. And then Accelerated Reader is the reading assessments to help monitor the practice of reading. And this can be used for grades TK through high school. There probably are more, definitely are more for younger students, but there is some high school content as well. Then we have Prodigy, which is a game-based math practice, and that's geared for students in 1st through 8th grade. And Reading Eggs Math Seeds, this is a really popular one from last year that we're bringing back again. So it's a game-based resource that helps students read and practice math skills. They have content for TK through 3rd grade, but older students who need extra practice can also benefit from using it. Then we have Tinker, which now also includes their new app, Tinker Junior. So it's a computer science and programming and coding courses for those in TK through high school. And then we have Typing Agent. So this is keyboarding, digital citizenship, and some basic computer coding curriculum. And this also can be used for TK through high school. Then we have Vocabulary Spelling City. So this is a customizable vocabulary and spelling practice for kindergarten through 12th grade. And then our resource category. So the resources are tools to enhance your students' learning experiences, and they can be used to supplement curriculum and to provide help in all subject areas. So the first is education.com. So this offers worksheets and printable lessons, as well as interactive games, and this is for grades TK through 5th. And then we have 2 different tutoring options. So the first is Grade Slam. So this is online with 24/7 access, unlimited tutoring, so the students can use it as much as they need to. And so this is a text-based and chat support platform, and they also have a writing editor platform. And then the second tutoring option is TutorMe. So they're also online 24/7 access. So they offer 8 hours of tutoring per student. So each student can get up to 8 hours of tutoring per month, I should say. So per student. And then theirs is video, voice, and text-based. So I know I went over those kind of fast, but if you check out the OSP handbook, it just has way more information on each one, the links to each one, videos, and the webinars, everything like that. So.
And then I want to jump in really quick to kind of talk about the differences between those 2 tutoring vendors, because GradeSlam was a fairly new addition to the OSP. Last year, when we first announced the options in April and May, TutorMe was the only tutoring vendor that we were offering. And at that time, we had advertised that it was a 24/7 unlimited tutoring. There was a little bit of a hiccup in terms of the translation of what unlimited tutoring was. So that one actually came with a threshold of 8 hours per student per month, which is still very generous. I mean, that works out to roughly 2 hours per week, a month per student. So that was still generous, but since we did advertise having an unlimited tutoring option, we did not want to disappoint our families. So we went back to the drawing board and we found another vendor that offered a very similar platform and was going to offer truly unlimited tutoring. Now, the 2 big differences between the vendors, aside from unlimited hours versus 8 hours, is GradeSlam is only text-based. So your student would have to like type in their questions and communicate with the tutor back and forth via the chat, or they have an SMS, like text-based. Whereas TutorMe offers visual, so you can do video chat, you can do verbal chat, or you can also do the text-based. So there's a little bit more versatility with regards to TutorMe and how your student might interact with the tutor. GradeSlam, what they do have going for them right now is a writing, and Sequoia mentioned this, it's a writing editor, so your student can submit their paper to get feedback from a tutor in terms of ways to maybe improve their writing. So they're not necessarily going to go in there and mark it all up. They're going to kind of give feedback to help the student find ways to improve their writing. TutorMe is working on something very, very similar. And then TutorMe has a few things that GradeSum doesn't currently offer. So you kind of have to look at the offerings that each one has. And then for those of you who are opting in and you know, say, okay, maybe I don't need all 5 subscriptions, you know, it wouldn't be bad to have 2 tutoring vendors. So you can kind of go back and forth and see which one works best. And because they are 24/7, you know, obviously the later hours of the night, you know, the accessibility for a tutor might not be as high. So it wouldn't hurt to maybe try them both as an option and see which one your student likes more, or, you know, kind of go back and forth between them to really maximize your students' resources on that. So I just wanted to take a second to talk about those 2 options. If you have questions about particular subscriptions, you can ask those in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. And then we're going to move on, just make sure we have all of the time that we need to cover any additional content. So, oops, sorry about that. So here is our frequently asked questions. So like I said, you know, if you've thought of it, someone else has definitely thought of it. And we just want to make sure you all get the same information. So Sequoia, take it away in terms of the questions, and then I'll come around with the answers.
Okay. So how do I opt in or opt out?
Okay, so that's the biggest question right now, is how do I opt in or out? So I'm going to hop on over to our enrichment ordering system. And we call this EOS for short. So for our new families, our EOS, or our enrichment ordering system, is where you place all of your enrichment orders. So anything you need to order for products or services gets placed into the EOS. In the EOS, we have the OSP portal. So the icon looks like a little clipboard with the check mark. For those of you who, you know, it is pretty small there. So if you have a hard time seeing or, identifying the icons, you can come along the side and hover over them until you find the OSP. I'm already in the actual platform on a testing account. So this is what the view looks like once you click into the OSP portal. You'll see here that I have my demo students, and you'll see it's a kind of a clean slate. So the dashboard up here shows that I have 0 students opted in, 0 students opted out, and I have 4 students with nothing selected. And then I have the button. So it's very visual, very straightforward. Again, easy peasy this year. So you come in here, you can click opt in, and then select your subscriptions from the menu options. And as you add them, they'll be highlighted. The selected subscriptions will show over here, and then you can continue adding those subscriptions. Now, if you want to opt out, it's super easy. So you click opt out, and you'll get a disclaimer kind of just letting you know that the $400 in opt-out funds will automatically be added to your student's account on February 1st, and that you can cancel these subscriptions or, your preferences. So let's say you opt out and then you change your mind, or you realize, you know what, actually it's a really good deal if I opt into these subscriptions. So you can go in here and cancel your opt-out preferences. So I'm gonna opt in really quick, and canceling it as easy as peasy as clicking opt or cancel. Okay. So hopping back over to the questions. Sequoia.
Oh, sorry. I was reading questions in the chat. Okay. So how long are the subscriptions good for?
So all of the subscriptions are good for 1 year, starting from August 15th through August 14th of 2020. Now, there are a couple of exceptions. Those are indicated on the OSP handbook. So those particular exceptions are Myon News, Reader, and Accelerated Reader, and as well as Typing Agent. So those are both active through July 31st. And then Prodigy is actually active for a full year from the date when you actually activate it. So if you don't request it for maybe a couple of months, then it's good from 1 year from the time that we process that for you. So most of them are all 1 year, for the exception of those that we've just mentioned.
Okay, so when will I receive the subscriptions?
Right, so the biggest question is, when am I gonna get them, right? If you opt in now through August 14th, then we will start processing all the subscriptions on August 15th. Which is the day they go active, and it's just in time for the new school year. So the sooner you opt in and submit your preferences, the sooner you'll be receiving those subscriptions. Now, it will take a couple of days for the processing due to the volume of subscriptions we have and the requests that are coming in. But then after that first couple of days, if you submit your preferences after August 15th, then subscriptions are processed on a weekly basis, and you could expect to receive your subscriptions within 5 to 8 business days of when you submitted it. So it kind of just depends on what day of the week. If we had just processed them for that week, then you would kind of be on the next round. So give it 5 to 8 business days is when you can expect them after August 15th.
Okay, so how will I receive the subscriptions?
Okay, so this is another tricky one, right? Because in the past, we had a lot of challenges with families not getting their logins, not getting the usernames, having difficulty logging in. So you will receive an email notification from the enrichment ordering system. It's an auto-generated email the moment that the subscriptions are actually processed. And then it'll give you your Clever login and your Clever password for both you and your student. So you'll have a parent account and you'll have a student account for Clever. But the subscriptions themselves, so once you actually get that email confirmation, it may take about 24 to 48 hours for those subscriptions to actually sync with our vendors. So once you get that email confirmation, you should be able to access the Clever subscriptions within a day or two. Some a little bit sooner, some closer to that 2-day range, but that's typically when you should expect to receive them.
So how much is the OSP if I opt in?
This is my favorite question. So the OSP is free. Who doesn't like free? I love free. So if you opt in, you're actually receiving your subscriptions for free. There are no charges to your student's account. There's no orders going on your student's account to charge them for the subscriptions if you opt in. Okay.
Do I have to opt in for all 5 at once?
No. So that's new this year. I know that was a challenge last year because many of you felt pressured, right? You want to get your subscriptions, but you actually had to submit all 5 of them or you didn't get the remaining ones. So this year we updated the system so that if you opt in, and I'll kind of demonstrate this for you here. Like, let's say I just want 2 right now. That's all I've had time to research because we're all busy parents and, it takes time to kind of figure out what works for our kids. So I can come in here, I can select the 2 subscriptions that I want, and then I can select submit. Now, the system will give you a prompt letting you know, are you sure? You still have a few more subscriptions available, and you can either cancel that and add your additional ones, or you can go ahead and proceed by clicking yes. And then once you've opted in for the few that you do want, you can go back to your dashboard and you can update this. So you'll be able to update your preferences up to the 5. So once you receive the 5 and they're all processed, you won't be able to update the additional ones anymore, but you can continue updating your preferences to the 5, and then what's been processed though can't be updated. So that's just something to point out, and I'll show you that really quick. So let's say go ahead.
I was going to say, I think something to add too, and I saw the question in the chat.
Yes.
So one reason people might not be seeing a la carte is that they only selected 2. You have to select all 5 here before the a la carte button shows up when you're opting in.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. That's a really good question. So if you're interested in doing the a la carte and you're not finding that button, it will only show up if you've opted in for all 5 or you've opted out. Because if you're opting in, the system is we want to give you the subscriptions for free, right? So we don't want to charge you until you've actually received all 5, and then you would only be charged for anything that you go over the 5. So on that note, obviously the best way to maximize it, because again, we're here to give you value, is if let's say you want 6 subscriptions, I would recommend, choosing the most expensive subscriptions through the opt-in, and then purchasing the additional subscription through the a la carte. So for instance, Tutor Me, Time for Learning, Schmoop, Adobe, Elefango, some of these are really high retail values. So those are the ones I'd want to opt in for. But let's say I wanted to add Prodigy, I can't remember the exact price, but it's only, $40, $50. So I would rather pay for that than actually pay for the additional $175 subscription. So you can really maximize the value on that. But thank you, Sequoia, for bringing that up. So that's a good point. You actually have to opt in for all 5 before you get the a la carte option. And then if you just want to see your opt-in, the a la carte, right? So sometimes you're like, well, I don't know. Do I want to just get one or two, or is it a better deal for me to opt in and just get additional subscriptions? So you can quickly opt out and then click on the a la carte option and take a peek at the pricing. And this is something that I do have in the Q&A. So the pricing isn't posted on our website or online, and that's because the prices will fluctuate from month to month to be prorated for the remaining portion of the subscription. All right, so hopping back over to our questions.
Okay, so is there a deadline for opting in or out?
No, not this year. So you can opt in at any time through pretty much the end of the school year. I think we're cutting it off at the end of May, just before the end of the school year. So you can opt in year round. Now for opting out, that's the only one. There's no deadline for it, but if you are opting out and you are eligible for the $400 in instructional funds, then you want to submit those preferences on or before January 31st, because the system will be dropping the OSP opt-out funds on February 1st. So you will have to have opted out in order to actually get the funding drop. If you do not submit any preferences this year, you will not automatically get the funds dropped. So that's another reason why it's really helpful that we have the a la carte only if you opt in or out, so we can make sure you actually submit your preferences. And if you happen to forget, we all get busy. So that doesn't mean that you're out of luck, right? So, February 5th rolls around, you realize I didn't get my funds and I had planned to opt out. You can go in there, submit your opt-out preference, and the system will drop the funds in about 24 to 48 hours. So all hope is not lost. You will still be able to get the funds if you forget to submit your preferences. It will be a little bit delayed.
And I don't know if this is in the FAQ later, I forgot, but someone's asking, or is it there later? Explain how the a la carte works. Is it, if you opt out, do you still get the 400, or is that a later question?
Yeah, that will cover that in just a minute. Yeah. So you guys all have great questions and everybody wants to know. So we'll get to that in just a second.
Okay, so how do I know if I'm eligible to receive the opt-out funds?
Okay, this is a really important question. So we do have students that are enrolled in a vendor package. They kind of have this special arrangement with the vendor where they offer a package of services, and part of that package includes the online subscription as part of that package, right? So for those students, they don't qualify, they're not eligible to receive the opt-out funds. They may opt out if they don't want the subscriptions, but there is no additional funding for students in the vendor packages. Now, some of you might be asking, am I in a vendor package? You'll know if you're in a vendor package. So usually you've had contact with the vendor, you've kind of discussed what their options are and what they get as part of, you signing up with their services. So if you are in a vendor package, you will definitely know. If you are not sure, then you can absolutely reach out to your homeschool teacher and they'd be able to help you figure that out for you. And then students who enroll late in the school year, so obviously if you're in this meeting, then that doesn't apply to you. But if for our students that enroll late and start on or after December 1st, those students also are not eligible for the opt-out funds, but they do have the option to opt in and receive the subscriptions for free.
Okay, so
Yep.
I want to opt out, but I still want 1 or 2 subscriptions. Can I sign up for just the subscriptions I want and still get the 400?
So yes, and this is why we came up with the a la carte this year, because that was kind of a demand that many of our families had. Many of you don't like your children being online or having much screen time, and we understand that. So for those of you who may only want 1 or 2 subscriptions, you can opt out. And if you opt out, you will receive the $400 in February. But if you want to purchase 1 of those or 2 of those subscriptions, then we're offering them through the OSP a la carte for a discounted rate. And you will be paying for those subscriptions up front through your students' instructional funds.
Okay, so where can I find the a la carte prices? Why aren't they posted online?
So I kind of jumped the gun on that question when I was showing you the a la carte. And again, the reason why they're not being posted online is because those prices will change every single month. So if we post them online, somebody might see the wrong prices, and we really wanted to be able to adjust it every month so that you're only paying for the portion that's remaining in the subscription by the time you opt in. Now, a couple of them are already at a really low rate. So for instance, TutorMe, if you were to go to TutorMe's website, they offer 4 hours a month of tutoring for over $1,400 a year. And we're offering 8 hours of tutoring, but it's going to be a flat rate of $400. So that particular subscription won't be prorated per month because it's already at a low rate. But if you want that subscription, then you could certainly do a la carte for that, but you get way more value out of it if you opted in and got it for free. But in that case, most of the subscriptions will fluctuate every month, and it's really hard to kind of keep track of what's posted where. So the prices will only be available through the OSP from month to month.
Okay, can my students share the subscriptions, or do I have to purchase the same subscription twice if I want to use it for 2 kids?
Okay, I think this is probably one of the top questions. We probably should have started with that. Now, the majority of the subscriptions are designed to be per student, so they're individual student subscriptions. However, there are a few subscriptions that can be used for more than one kiddo. So we want to kind of point those out to you so that you're not opting into the same subscription and kind of maybe not getting the full use or value out of your OSP. So ABC Mouse and Adventure Academy allow you up to 3 students. Kids Discovery allows you to add up to 5 students, and Vocabulary and Education.com are both unlimited family access. So you can add, you can use it for multiple kids, no problem. Now, Grammarly and Adobe, these are kind of unique because they are single accounts, but if you log in, you can log into multiple devices using Grammarly or Adobe. The only restriction with Adobe is they do limit it to 2 devices. So if you have an Adobe Creative Cloud license, you can only actually use it on 2 devices, whether that's a laptop and an iPad or 2 laptops. You'd be able to use that subscription up to 2 licenses or to 2 devices. However, all of the content would be on the same account. So for instance, I love Spark. It's like you can create web pages, you can create flyers. So if I were to share my account with my kids, or if your kids are sharing with each other, they'd actually be able to see each other's projects if they're using the same account. So if you have a teenage daughter that does not like to share, like mine, then you would probably want, a separate subscription for each kid. It just depends on your family dynamic. So we like to point those out so that you're not doubling up on some that may not be necessary.
Okay, the flyer or OSP handbook says the subscription is for grades 3 through 8, but my 1st or 2nd grader would love this. Can we still request a subscription?
Yes. So the grades that we list are just recommendations. It's kind of the average grade level that's relevant to those subscriptions. If you have a really high functioning student that is like really into Photoshop at 2nd grade, go for it. You can absolutely use it. We're not restricting what subscriptions you can sign up for based on your grade. You have a lot of flexibility there. And then on that note, keep in mind things like Adobe. It would benefit not only the student, but the parent in terms of work samples. You can use Acrobat to help, annotate work samples or save things as PDFs or convert files, or there's a lot of things that you can do. So just know that these resources are beneficial to both you and your students. Okay, and moving right along. Now, I think I'm the most excited about this. Aside from the tutoring vendors, this is my favorite thing about the OSP this year. Because a lot of our families, if you were with us before, it really was a challenge trying to maintain all of those subscriptions. So we worked with Clever to provide a single sign-on access. And Joe is going to walk you through what Clever will look like for both you and your student and kind of point out some really great perks to Clever. So I'm going to stop sharing so that Joe can share and walk you through that process.
Thank you, Serena.
Thank you.
Let me share my screen here. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? It should be on clever.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So as Serena said, this is Clever, and this is the single sign-on so that you do not have to have any more headaches, or at least a few less. So we're super excited about this. So I'm just going to essentially give you a probably 5 to 6 minute rundown on how to log in. And please note that you won't receive any sort of Clever login information until we process all the EOS or enrichment ordering system opt-in, opt-out, and a la carte orders on the 15th. So this will be another week or two before you get here. But we're going to show you just a quick tutorial. So this is Clever. Now I'm going to get out of this district. So this is what you'll see when you log into Clever. If you go into clever.com and you press login, this is what you're going to see. So I'm going to find Inspire. And that's right here, Inspire Charter Schools District Office, OSP, Inspire Charter Schools. So if you just type in Inspire, you'll get there. And so this will bring you to this little segment. Now, it does give you the option to log in with Google. And so we just want to be very clear that we are giving you, all the information we're going to give you is for Clever login specifically. So if we wanted to do login with Google for everyone, we would actually have to have all of you with a Gmail account. And so we figured this would be just much easier. We can keep it streamlined, keep it easier for all of you. And so we're going to do that. And keep in mind, this little guy right here having trouble get help signing in. I'm going to talk about this later, but I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we're going to sign in. This portal right here is for, you can sign in both your student dashboard and your parent dashboard. And again, the way that Clever works with most districts is that they have teacher portals. So you'll log into your teacher or your parent portal, and it's just going to say teacher portal all over the place. But no worries, that's still your portal. We didn't make a mistake. Okay, so I'm going to sign in here. And the username I have, you're going to receive all your information, your parent information to get into your parent portal, and your student information to get in your Clever portal for your students via email on or around the 15th as well. So here's the student portal. Now, the one thing I did forget to do is to take out this little Clever, I forget what you call it. For some reason, I'm blank on that name. But it will give you a little pop-up and say you need to, it's extension is the name I was looking for. So it'll say that you need to add the extension to, I believe there's Chrome, Firefox, and one other web browser. But it will take you directly to a link. You click the little link, should be around here, and then it will pop up right here. So this will allow you to get to all of your apps. Now, within your student portal, there are two different kinds of apps. There are integrated apps, and there are unintegrated apps. And all of these apps that are right here are going to be directly taken from your opt-in or a la carte orders. So everything you ordered should be right here as we see it. I forgot to mention that on the way in. But like I was saying, so there were two different types of apps, unintegrated and integrated. So an integrated app is one where it's partnered with Clever in a way that they take care of everything for you. They take care of your password, your username. It essentially, this little guy right here is like an app on your iPhone. You click right into it, and it will take you directly there. I didn't even have to do any kind of sign-on information besides get into Clever. And here I am. I'm ready to go as a student. Okay, so that's the integrated app. The unintegrated app is something like Grammarly. Okay, and there are a list. There are a few different ones that have the direct or the integrated procedures, and then there are a few different ones that have this. So let me find login information. And what's going to happen with an unintegrated app is you're going to receive an email, something like this. Okay, so you're going to click activate my account. It'll probably ask you to give them a password, or maybe a password and a username. And so you'll go through this little button there. You'll create your account through Grammarly, and then you'll come here and just type in your account. Let me make sure. I think it's, yeah. And if I didn't type the password in right or wrong, it should go straight in. And there we go. Okay, and so once we're in like this, I'm just going to cancel out. I'm done. I come back the next day and I click right in. It's going to take you directly to the subscription. So you no longer have to do the same sign-in information.
This is amazing, everybody. I hope you're really excited about this.
Yes, and it's super exciting. We all know that passwords are just a pain in the neck sometimes, and we especially know when you have 2 kids, 3 kids, and you have 4 or 5 different passwords for each one. That's a maze. So we're super excited that we can provide you with this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to point this out to you really quick. Just keep in mind, this is a teacher page. I'm going to show you this in a second, but this is what it's going to look like on the kids portal, just to fill you in on that. But let me go in. I'm going to now log in the parent portal to the same student that we just had. Okay, so I'm in the parent portal now. And it's, again, Clever is, in the way that it's set up is for teachers who have more like 30 students. So this is going to be a little bit easier for you to keep track of. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, actually, well, 2, but the first thing, these little student resource pages. So these are resources. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say your student is in Rosetta Stone and they're trying to look up a definition for whatever reason. And so you decide, well, okay, I don't want to have to always figure out a way for them to get to the dictionary, or, who has paper dictionaries anymore? I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, I got to move this. There we go. We're going to add a link. I'm going to go to dictionary.com. I'm just going to copy it, paste it right here. I'll just title it dictionary for now. Keep it in student resources. Pick a little icon there, always fun. And then it's going to pop up on your page, but right here, if you notice, this page was also on the students' dashboard as well. So when they click that little page, they're going to have the link to both of these things. Okay, so they're going to get, boom, dictionary.com. The other one I just added here, we actually don't have a Clever app for Adventure Academy, so I added that. You can add whatever you would like to that, really.
So to answer your question, Adriana, yes, you can add additional links or apps, right, Joe?
That's correct. Yeah, so right here, it even gives you the option to do apps. Of course, you'll have to have your student opted in. Now, let's say you have an app from totally unaffiliated from Inspire OSP. You might still be able to add it here. I don't know for sure, but it might be worth a shot. And then a link here, of course, and you can categorize if you have, a huge handful of different links that, let's say, dictionaries and I don't know, different translation websites, you can categorize them there. And the last thing, this is also super helpful because, again, I do know that passwords are plentiful in our minds as parents, as just people in technology these days. So this is one of my favorite, again, I'm blanking on the words, but one of my favorite procedures to get your student in. So Audrey Demo is the first account that we actually went into. Now, if you click into this little, I'm just going to do this again, help a student. This is how you can help them log in. Let's say they forget their password. You forget their password. Help a student log in. You'll have a list of your students. Click the student you would like to log in. You're going to copy this little code. And then for this sake, I'm going to have to log out here. But if you have 2 different devices, you'll be able to do this easier. And this is what I mentioned at the very beginning. Having trouble get help signing in, you're going to click here. Log in with the backup code. I guess I can't highlight that. Paste. And you're back into your student portal. right there, ready to go. And I believe that is it for the Clever tutorial. Thank you for listening. I know it's super new, and there is a test site if you would like to log in. If you just Google clever.com, I think it's demo site, it will actually, you can log in with a demo account. You can kind of look around. Not a lot of the subscriptions are the same, but if you really want to get familiar with it, that'd be a great tool.
Thank you, Joe. This is really, really exciting. So a couple of the questions in the chat is asking a little bit about Clever. So no, Clever doesn't actually count as a subscription. It's just the platform that we're using to distribute your subscriptions and make it easier for you to manage your usernames and passwords, because you can just click on those apps or websites directly from Clever to access them. So you won't have to keep track of all those passwords and usernames. And you'll get access, or you'll get your Clever username and password once your online subscriptions start processing. So that automatic email will come from our enrichment ordering system, and it'll give you your student's username and password as well as your parent username and password, because you'll have 2 accounts. And that's where you'll be able to get those those details, so you can access Clever. And I think that covers it. We made really good time, so we'll take all the questions from the chat that haven't been answered. There might have been a couple in there that maybe we just didn't have the answer for right now, but we'll look into those and get back to you all. So we'll hand it over to Arlene, and I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your evening to sit with us, let us share with you our excitement and enthusiasm for the online subscription package. And we hope you find value in it as much as we love it. It's kind of my baby, Sequoia's baby. We just worked really, really hard all year. And we've heard from you. So we couldn't have done this without you, by the way. We had many parents reply to the survey last year and give us their very honest feedback, which helps us make better and wiser choices, right? So thank you for everybody who filled out the survey last year. We will definitely send out another survey for next year. So that's your opportunity to kind of speak up, give us your thoughts, tell us what worked, tell us what didn't work. If you have a specific subscription you think would be amazing, you'll be able to share it once we get that survey going, usually in late winter, early spring, so we can start ramping up for the new school year. So thanks, everybody. And thank you, Arlene, for organizing this. It's such a blessing. And we hope that you enjoy this. So Arlene, take it away.
Not so quick, Serena. By the way, nice job. I learned a lot too. I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people would pick just 5. I think it's great you have an a la carte where you can add on. And those are great tips about if you do select the online subscriptions to pick the more expensive ones so that you're paying out of pocket for the cheaper ones. So I just had a quick question about Clever. Is this app only available to people who opt in, or is everyone in Inspire getting a Clever account?
So this year it'll only be for those doing the OSP. We are collaborating with our tech team on the possibility of using Clever long term or like school scale. We're not sure. I know they're looking into those options for our families and staff. So possible, but I don't know for sure. So
okay,
and to clarify too, it's both if you opt in or do a la carte. So if you do either one through the OSP, that's how we'll be kind of you'll get Clever either way. Just so
got it.
Not just opt in, but if you do any a la carte, then you would get Clever as well.
Okay, so any order of the online subscription package, and then you'll get Clever. I think it's worth it just for that. That and the tutoring ones.
Arlene, really quick, there was somebody that had this question, and we didn't actually cover it, so I'm glad somebody asked, was really quick about the students that are enrolled in the vendor packages. I know in previous years, I think we used to call them specialty programs. Now they're called vendor packages. And this year we changed it up. So in the past, you used to only get 2 subscriptions. And this year we said you get 5. So if you opt in, you get 5. And if you're in a vendor package, then you also get 5. So maximize your resources there. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Artie.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you answered that because I saw that one too. I was going to ask you to go to that one. So yeah, wow, you guys covered a lot. And for people who, you know, buckled their seatbelts and went through this ride, just remember you will get the recording link so you can go back to this and refer to it, and pause it, take notes, do whatever you need to do. So let me bring us back. Let's see. Here we go. And if you have questions, keep typing them in. So can you see my screen? The deep dive? Yes, okay. So now I'm trying to move along. So raffle winner, we always have a raffle. I raffle off a Barnes & Noble gift card. So if you are number 3, not counting us, you can email me. Let's see. Email me, Arlene. Could somebody type in my email into chat? And let's see, who's the winner? Anna Ramirez. And Anna, I hope you're not an Inspire employee. If you are, let me know and I'll pick somebody, the person after you. Go ahead and email me and I will email you this gift card as a thank you to everybody, lucky winners, to be able to purchase probably a book at Barnes & Noble. And then I usually use this screen to recommend a book or a video or something like that. But what I'm going to recommend is you take a look at the OSP handbook and maybe go back and look at some of the videos from the previous webinars to, you know, do a deeper dive if you feel like, oh, I'm not really sure between this one or that one. So that's going to be my recommendation. And let's see. And yay, Anna, you did win. Okay. So again, I'm going to type my email real quick since I'm on the screen. And Anna, feel free to email me and I'll get that to you probably by tomorrow. All right, so that's my recommendation. Dive into the online subscription package even more. And then next week we're going to go back to high school. We did that last week, and we looked at like the traditional curriculum options and kind of the overview and who you would talk to if you needed help and so forth. Next week we're going to look at kind of the less traditional side of Inspire's high school, or I should say, the alternatives like dual enrollment or the Choice Plus curriculum, or if you want to, do an interest-led high school class, how you would go about using the I can statements or something like that to help your student choose what they're most passionate about. So that's next Monday, live at 5. And I think, I'm going to leave that up for just a moment. Again, if you have not signed up to be on my email distribution list for Inspiring Parents, you do want to go to this link. You can't click on this. This is a screenshot, but you can copy it. I'll come back to that one if anybody needs to write that one down. And I want to thank Serena, Joe, and Sequoia for sharing all of your amazing knowledge and for all of the work that you have. I know it's a labor of love, right? You love doing this. I know Serena homeschools her own children, and so, but still, nevertheless, you put your heart into this, and it shows, and we thank you for that. So thank you for sharing your homeschool heart with us. And your teachers are back, but they are a little preoccupied with staff development this week. So sharing their homeschool hearts are the family liaisons. You can still reach out to them. This is their email down here, icsfamilyliaisons@inspireschools.org. And if you're looking for help with something, they can be the portal to direct you to who you might need to talk to. And just remember, this email goes to all of the family liaisons throughout the state, so do indicate where you live. So the one who lives in your county will reach back out to you. All right, are there any other, I see chat.
I was just going to say, when you were saying the labor of love, and I homeschool my 3 kids. So just to make everybody laugh, my children are absolutely tired of being the OSP testing guinea pigs.
Well, we thank them too for their service. And I'm sure they're friends, right?
Huh?
And they're friends too?
No, just my kids. Yeah.
Just your kids get the special treatment.
No,
All right. Well,
they wouldn't call it special.
that was tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it looks like you've answered all of their questions. Awesome. And again, this is really an amazing, another resource that Inspire offers, and I'm really glad that we do, so that, you know, we are about choice, and this is another one of those choices. So as I said, I will go back to the recording slide in case somebody needs to copy that down. And I hope you guys enjoy. Let's see, August 20th is the official kickoff of the school year. I know many of you homeschoolers, a lot of our homeschoolers are homeschooling all year round. Of course, you can't take attendance now, but August 20th is just like, oh, okay, that's when we start taking attendance. But many of you I know are learning all year long. And that's one of the beauties of homeschooling. So when will the recording be available? That's a good question. Sometimes I get sidetracked with other projects. So like and the other thing, last week there were a ton of resources, so it took me a while to get them all in there. So I made it available last Friday. But I think, Serena, most of the resources are available in the handbook you gave the direct link to, and then the OSP email. Are there any other resources I need to share?
I think we're good, and we'll have a video very similar, at least like kind of covering the ins and outs, tips and tricks on the website as well.
So if they go to osp@inspireschools.org, they'll get that video?
They could email, and that'll give them the link to the OSP handbook, but the video will be on the OSP handbook, and then we're working with our developers to get it added to the EOS as well. Okay,
so there you go. So yeah, I think I'll be able to get this out within the next couple of days. I'm going to be at a staff development tomorrow also. So if not tomorrow, let's see, tomorrow is Tuesday, by Wednesday, I would think, at the very latest. So thank you for asking. And again, if you missed the news update at the very beginning, I included the link at the top of chat. I'll include that on the resources page for this recording. I do see a couple more questions there, Serena. I don't know if you guys want to answer those before we say goodbye.
Let's see here. Let's see.
That's the other one about, well, you've answered it kind of, but.
And the 5 opt-in be sped through, I think they meant like shared through the 4 kits. So the way the opt-in works is if you opt in, you have to opt in 1 student at a time. The subscriptions are created for that particular student based on their name, their grade, their information. So that may or may not work depending on your student. So if you have, you know, a 5th grader and a 1st grader, and you're trying to opt in, or, you know, opt in the 1 student and get additional subscriptions for the younger one, those subscriptions are actually getting created in the name and the grade of the student that you're opting in. So in that case, we recommend doing the a la carte if you just want 1 or 2 for the additional student. But it's tricky. I mean, you can try to find a way to make that work, but it wasn't designed that way. So it was meant to be per student, and versus like a family sharing all of the opt-ins under 1 kid's account.
Plus in Clever, they'll be created under that student's account in Clever.
Correct.
So.
And then there's a question about Minecraft education.
Do we wait to opt in? No, you can opt in for Minecraft. You can either do it through the OSP as part of one of your options, or you could do it through the a la carte.
Okay, so if people have more questions, would they also email at osp@inspireschools.org? I mean, maybe look at the frequently asked questions, because some version of these questions I think are there from what I saw you sharing. But if you don't find it there, then feel free to email the team at osp@inspireschools.org. Well, I think we can call this a wrap. Thanks again to Serena, Sequoia, and Joe. You all are amazing. And thank you for all of you. It's so nice to see in chat. Some of you, this is your very first Inspiring Parents, so welcome. Come back often. We have lots of information to share with you. All right, so long. We'll see you next Monday. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.